Welcome to another episode of The Marketer's Edge, a series designed to share senior level marketing perspective about marketer challenges, opportunities, and agency relationships. Our goal is to help marketers and agencies learn from other marketers across different industries. Today, we're talking with Paul Schwalbach, Marketing and Public Relations Manager at Pima Community College in Arizona. Paul, thanks so much for joining us today. How have you been?
I've been doing pretty well. Thank you, Mark.
Good, good. That's great. Hey, I've got a small handful of questions for you, but before I jump into that, can you tell me a little bit about Pima Community College and what you do for the organization? I'd like our audience to know what kind of educational institution it is and what you do for them.
Okay, first and foremost, Pima is a public community college, so we're not for profit, and I think that's a key distinction. Second of all, we're a large urban community college. We're in Tucson, Arizona, in Pima County. There's 1 million people in Pima County, and every semester we serve about 20,000 learners.
Wow.
So we offer them, we're a comprehensive community college. So we offer more than 100 certificate and degree programs. You got everything from accounting down to welding. Now, in my work in marketing and communications, I have a 3-person staff, and basically the shorthand is we're responsible for telling the story of the college to a wide variety of audiences. To provide a little context, marketing and communications is part of Pima Community College's external relations unit, and that comprises a lot of different areas. We've got PCC TV, which tells our story through video. Government relations, which tells our story to elected officials and government officials. We have a media department that produces graphics, PowerPoint, print. We have a recruiting department that we work very closely with, because one of the jobs in marketing is to find inquiries, turn prospects into inquiries, which are people who've raised their hand and said, right, tell me more, give me your name. They've given us some contact information. Tell me more about Pima. It's recruiting's job to turn those folks from inquiries into actual registrants, whose butts are in the seats. We have a college events department. We put on probably dozens of events a year, everything from graduation to huge. We work closely with other external agencies. We host a lot of events. We have web systems because our web page is essentially the entryway for marketing. And we have a community relations department whose job is to establish a presence in the public.
That's awesome. I mean, you wouldn't imagine that there would be that many components to a community college's marketing and communications efforts. And curious, do you guys do any sort of partnership with companies within the Tucson area?
Well, part of our goal is to work closely with business and industry in our community to make sure that we're offering the curriculum, which is our product, that is our bottom line product, offer the curriculum that those folks need our learners to have.
Right.
So, Tucson is home to Raytheon, and it's home to Caterpillar. Not home to, but we have established. They have a large facility here. We're home to a whole bunch of other smaller manufacturers. We work with those folks hand in hand to make sure that we're doing the best job we can to help those folks do the best job they can.
That's great. That's great. Makes a lot of sense. I noticed that Pima has open admissions and open access to all, which is fantastic. And I'm just curious, how do you balance that positioning with the message related to excellence in education, which you do communicate? Is it a tough balance you have to strike in your communication and being able to do both of those things, or not so much?
Well, it is in a way, but it's really not in a way. Excellence in education, that's one, baked into our DNA. And two, we are held to high standards, by our accreditor, the Higher Learning Commission, by the U.S. Department of Education, by the Arizona Department of Education. Higher education is regulated, individual programs like our nursing program, all of our health-related professions programs. There are accrediting units for those particular programs. So, and as a public nonprofit, we don't have shareholders, we don't have stockholders, we don't have a profit and loss statement. Our goal is totally focused on education. So, and more than that, our mission is every learner, every day for every goal. So open admissions is a necessary part of that. We have a super diverse student body. We've got people coming to us to get a GED. We also have people coming to us to get their first couple of general education courses out of the way so they can transfer to the University of Arizona, or for that matter, to an Ivy League college. And we do. So that's our strength. That said, as a marketer, having to reach all of those diverse audiences who have different expectations and needs, that's challenging.
Yeah, I would imagine that's probably a lot more challenging than trying to balance excellence in education with open access and enrollment. Yeah, definitely. Do you, so consequently, are you doing a lot of segmenting of messaging, or is it?
Oh, totally.
To really, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious, just in general, how have community colleges been doing? I know small private universities are struggling to maintain enrollment. Many have shuttered. Does Pima in any way deal with similar challenges? And if not, why not?
Well, community colleges like Pima, the pandemic hit us hard. There's no denying it. Tucson is not a wealthy community, and our students are older. We have plenty of students who come to us out of high school, so they come from a college culture. But we have plenty of students who are adult learners. The average age of a Pima student is 28. So so they have a lot. The typical Pima student has a lot on their plate to begin with: work obligations, family obligations. So add the pandemic to that. We know our students suffer job losses, health setbacks, and like I said, a working class student who is faced with an issue, anything from, well, I've got a sick family member, to my hours have changed at work. I do not control my schedule, to something as simple as, we got one car, it broke down. Those students were hurt by the pandemic. Our enrollment has increased probably over the last 4 or 5 semesters, but it's still not at pre-pandemic levels.
Okay. Yeah.
And so yes, we're bouncing back from the pandemic, but our students have less margin for error. I'll put it that.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, that definitely adds a challenging dimension to marketing and retention and
Yes.
all that good stuff. Can you talk, speaking of marketing, can you talk to me a little bit about how Pima markets to potential students? Like, there's certain platforms you use more often, and just, you've been there 15 years. How has that changed over the 15 years you've been at Pima? I would imagine quite a bit.
Yeah. When I first started in 2009, marketing basically consisted of mailing the schedule of classes, for the upcoming semester to every household in Pima County.
Nice. Okay.
We did a few print ads in the daily newspaper. We would send out a press release. Maybe if we were feeling ambitious, we'd do a little radio. The marketing campaign basically started about 6 weeks before the start of each semester, and that was it.
Yeah.
All right. Nowadays, it's 24/7, 365 across channels that, of course, did not exist in 2009. Social media, digital media. When we started working, no one knew what the word geofencing meant. Now we can geofence. You give us an audience, we can make sure our message shows up on their phone.
Yeah.
We do some television, but mostly it's a lot of YouTube pre-roll. we cannot compete. We just don't have the budget to compete on even cable television with, many organizations. So we are heavily into digital. We still do direct mail, but we don't mail the schedule of classes. We pick and choose our audiences from various mailing lists. We send out a lot of postcards and stuff, but that is just one aspect of what basically is an all of the above approach.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm just curious, just as an aside, what are some of the more popular classes or areas of study at Pima these days?
Well, it's interesting. Primarily, we remain a transfer institution. So
Okay.
most of our students come to Pima with the idea that they are going to end up at the University of Arizona, which is
Just
5 miles down the street,
yeah,
or Arizona State University in
right.
Tempe, Northern
Sure.
Arizona in Flagstaff, any number of colleges, any number of degree granting institutions. That's one audience. So the most popular degrees are basically the Associate of Liberal Arts, because they use that as the springboard to do whatever they're going to do at a
Okay.
university.
Got it.
Health, that's one area. But then there's the occupational area, direct employment. People are coming to us with the next stop, hopefully, being a job.
Yeah.
So the health-related professions are very important. Everyone starts out wanting to become a registered nurse. Not everyone can become a registered nurse.
Yeah.
It is a difficult, rigorous curriculum. So they may want out to be a registered nurse, but they may end up being a practical nurse, or they may end up getting into radiation tech, becoming a rad tech, becoming a respiratory care person, which in itself is extremely rigorous.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that the health-related professions are very important at Pima.
Cool. That's great. That's great. So as I mentioned before, you've been there 15 years. I'm just curious, what about the institution has kept you around as long as it has?
Well, the mercenary answer is the Arizona State retirement system, because we have a pension fund. But, the real answer is, Pima's mission, I think, is, maybe noble is too much of a word, but it's important to the community.
Yeah.
I mentioned the University of Arizona. People want to go to the U of A. People need to come to Pima, to get to make it up that first rung of the economic ladder.
Yeah.
We have so many people looking for a GED. We have people who are underemployed in their, currently, and, they just want a better life for themselves.
Yeah.
The example I always give is, at the University of Arizona, they're putting spacecraft on asteroids. They're driving a rover on Mars. We don't do that. But you bring your car in to any car dealership in Tucson and there's a problem with it, the auto tech probably came from Pima. Universities cure cancer. We don't cure cancer. But you see a nurse, you see a dental hygienist,
Mm-hmm.
you see an EMT, they may have come very well from Pima.
Yeah.
Pima is, community colleges provide the backbone of, I would say, stable and secure communities.
Yeah.
People need, I don't know if you're aware, but there's, sort of a mini trend to eliminate community from many community college names, because there's this connotation that community colleges are somehow less than. I can pretty much guarantee you that's never going to happen at Pima. We're always going to be Pima Community College because we are ingrained in the community.
Yeah, that's interesting. Didn't realize that, and that makes a lot of sense that you're wanting to keep it around the way it is. That's very cool. Yeah, I mean, it gives me chills just thinking about, just all the good things that Pima and I'm sure other community colleges are doing. It's great. So I was digging around the internet a little bit after you agreed to do the interview, and it looks like you were once a sports writer. Is that correct?
Yeah, I started out as a sports writer when I was 17. Uh, Covered uh, everything from the rodeo to Arizona State University football to boxing. It's a great job, but once you get married and start having kids, you want some more stability in your life. So you
Yeah.
go from writing to editing, and then I served in various capacities throughout sports and throughout the rest of the newspaper until 2009 when the newspaper shut down.
Uh, what did you like most about the job?
Uh, every day it's creativity on demand.
Yeah.
Every day you come in and there's a blank front page. Eight
Right.
hours later or 10 hours later, it's full of news.
Yeah.
And then you hit the button, that newspaper goes out, and then
Yeah.
you do it again the next day.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's definitely a high intensity profession for sure. I'm curious, anything you've learned from that experience that's helped you in your marketing role at Pima?
Yes, I think the words matter. Everyone talks about all sorts of different ways to tell stories and technology and this and that, but the words matter. You know, Uh, at the end of the day, it's the stories that you tell. About the college. We're essentially a data company.
Hmm.
The data, the information that goes from professor to student, that goes from marketing to the greater, to the outside world, that we tell within the institution. Openness and honesty and telling the complete story. That's what matters. That's
Yeah.
what matters. And that's what I learned from journalism.
That's great. That's great. Do you or have you ever worked with marketing agencies at Pima?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We work with multiple agencies
Do you?
because, like I've said, marketing has gotten so much more complex.
Yeah.
Sometimes people ask me, why don't we just take everything in house? Let's just do all this marketing in house. And I go, sure. You let me hire 40 more people and we will have a great internal comprehensive marketing department.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my staff and we can't be doing the comprehensive marketing to all our audiences
Yeah.
in one
Yeah.
fell swoop. Uh, Marketing is now very complex. It's essentially pressing a lot of buttons in a very precise order. That's one part of it. That's the digital realm. So not even one agency can do that. We work with several agencies. We work with, the commonalities are strategy, execution, data analysis, media buying is its own world, making sure you get the best deal. So that's, outsourced in a way.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
thing that me and my team keep doing is we're in charge of content, messaging, and orchestration.
Okay.
We make sure that what goes out the door, whether it's a digital ad or a radio commercial or a postcard, it's properly branded, has the right information, has accurate information. You know, uh, that's what we do. We take care of the content, the distribution. That's why we go outside.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier, I think it was government regulations. You have like a comms agency that you use to support those kind of efforts, or do you do a lot of that kind of work on your own internally?
Uh, you do bring up a good point because I'm in charge of marketing and communications. And
Hmm.
those are two completely different areas. Marketing is we're trying to convince someone. Communications, that's everything from handling the weekly e-newsletter that goes out to all students to make
Hmm.
sure they know what's going on about opportunities. We do a lot of work specifically for our chancellor so that she can tell her story to various communities, whether it's a major conference or just, telling folk, we have 2,000 employees, more than 2,000 employees if you count all our part-time instructors,
Yeah.
and temps and stuff. We just want to tell them what's going on once a month,
Yeah. Yeah.
just keep everyone informed. So we pretty much handle all the communications part of it. that's done in-house.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So, any advice you'd give to a marketer, regardless of industry, just thinking about bringing a new agency on board?
Uh, be wary of quick fixes. The marketer who says, if you just did X and Y, be wary of proprietary, sorry about that,
Yeah.
proprietary technology. Because, everyone has their secret sauce, but then you do a little digging and it's not so secret.
Hmm.
There's not that much that other people can't do. Uh, and marketing, like anything else, it's about relationships.
Hmm.
If you need to do your due diligence and ask yourself the question, is this is this an agency I can work with, not through the end of the semester, but for 3 years from now,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
going to be a learning journey for both of you.
Right.
You're going to learn from them. They're going to learn from you too.
Right.
They need to know not only marketing, but they need to know what it means to market at a community college in a large urban area.
Yeah.
So it's, and they need to know too, it'd be great if they knew Pima County, Arizona. So, we ask a lot of our marketing agencies, but at the end of the day, it's someone who you can work with
Right. Yep. Yep. And
and
so,
collaborate with, day after day.
yep. So my last question is, if an agency was trying to knock down your door and attempt to win business from you, what advice would you give to them?
Uh, well, they should do their due diligence about Pima Community College.
Yeah.
If they're, we have a very stringent request for proposals process, which, we hem and haw about internally. Why can't we just hire so and so because, we know they're the best?
Sure.
That's not allowed. And that's actually a good thing. So when people come to us, they've had to jump through some hoops. And when they, and if it reaches the stage where they're making a presentation and you get the sense that this is the presentation they give 3 or 4 times a month, and it's pretty much the same thing with
Yeah.
maybe 1 or 2 slides interspersed that allegedly are their homework about Pima, that's a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
They need to know Pima before we're going to part with our, hard-won marketing budget.
Yep. No, I agree wholeheartedly. Absolutely. Was running a search for a hospital system in Texas, just finished up recently, and one of the agencies, it was clear that it was just a big old cut and paste job in their final pitch presentation. And the agency that ultimately is moving ahead really took the time to dive into the client's business and delight and surprise them with insights, and just made, I mean, the connection was so much stronger. So I completely agree with you there.
Yeah,
Well,
there's a real
yeah.
sweet spot that we've had we've been pitched to by huge agencies, that are nationwide, and you get the sense that they think they're doing us a favor by pitching to us, and that if we were to take if we were to hire them, we'd get the intern, to cut their teeth on
Yeah.
on little Pima. On the other hand, we are pitched to by folks who sound as if it's them and a temp in a garage, and we can't be sure that they're going to need, they just don't have the firepower.
Mhm.
We'll break that agency with all our demands. So, you need that. You're looking for that sweet spot
Yeah,
of personal service, yet enough wherewithal to do all the things we're going to ask them to do.
definitely. Whenever we look for new agencies for our marketing clients, we never want them to be on the top of the list in terms of like the biggest client, and certainly don't want them to be this a small fish in a big old pond. And
Right.
so striking that balance is so important. I completely agree with you. Well, listen, Paul, it's been a great conversation. Really enjoyed it. You've got a great community college system in Pima, and it sounds like you're doing some fantastic things for the community and really helping people sort of, it's more than an educational experience. It's really a life experience for a lot of people there. And I think that, it seems clear to me that you guys absolutely get that and communicate that way and manage the relationships with students that way. So, hats off to you and the rest of the team there. But yeah, thanks again for the time.
No, thank you, Mark. I appreciate it.